My Trinidad and my grandma. Hey grandma, you like stewed chicken? You like stewed chicken? Grandma.
These are the types of childhood memories that have become indelibly etched in my mind. For 12 years, I watched my grandmother become a victim to Alzheimer's disease. She forgot everything she ever knew, including me. With talks of the development of Alzheimer's drugs, I had so much hope that she would be saved. I thought I would see the day where she would get better, but I was wrong.
Doctors are ready for human testing of a drug intended to prevent Alzheimer's disease.
Experimental drug called crenezumab to see if their genetic destiny can be reversed and if Alzheimer's itself can be prevented. When the trial begins, crenezumab will attack a toxic brain protein called amyloid.
Association conference in Washington looks at an experimental drug. The treatment may, for the first time, attack the underlying cause and slow its progress. Our Dr. David Agus is in Los Angeles. David, good morning.
Morning, Nora.
So tell us about this new drug.
So it's a new drug. It's got a name that rolls off your tongue. Solanezumab.
This trial for me is game-changing. For the first time, I think we have a chance to really change the course of Alzheimer's disease.
Solanezumab may delay cognitive decline in patients in the earliest stages of Alzheimer's.
These findings are hugely significant in the sense that it's the first data that we've had which is consistent with a drug actually slowing down the course of the disease.
The recently reported study by Eli Lilly on solanezumab actually did not meet its primary endpoint, so it was a failure as a therapeutic trial.
The news anybody was looking for this morning from Eli Lilly, putting out the results of a phase 3 trial of its Alzheimer's drug solanezumab. It did not meet the goals of that study. As a result, Lilly says it will not seek regulatory approval of this drug.
And we're following breaking news from the FDA, which has approved the first new medication in 18 years for the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. Biogen claims the drug aducanumab slows cognitive decline in patients living with Alzheimer's.
I think this is an exciting day for people with Alzheimer's disease. They now have some hope that a drug is going to be on the market that is going to have an impact on the underlying disease process itself.
Major news out of the FDA today on what could be a potentially blockbuster Alzheimer's treatment from Biogen.
Well, Brian, not just a potential blockbuster, but what some are calling potentially the biggest drug of all time.
Where do you stand? I think the evidence to approve the drug wasn't sufficient.
Was not sufficient.
That's correct. That's correct.
How so?
Another study is needed to establish whether this drug, in fact, is effective. Unfortunately, the FDA approved the drug for marketing.
It doesn't outweigh the risks of taking the drug. Side effects that include brain swelling and bleeding.
Dr. Aaron Kesselheim resigned from the FDA Advisory Committee after the drug's approval last month.
One of the worst decisions that I can remember.
There's been an amyloid hypothesis that Alzheimer's was due to amyloid. If we take away the amyloid, the disease would go away, get better, or at least stop. And this does not appear to be the case.
Debated in the neurology community is whether or not these plaques should actually be the target.
There's no shortage of targets to try. It's just a matter of picking one and then, of course, getting the research funding to pursue it.
My grandmother is no longer with me, but I still like to think there's hope. Nobody should have to experience Alzheimer's or the pain of losing a loved one to it. The problem hasn't stopped, so neither will I.